Good morning. It's another lovely day in Sweden. And it's way too early for anybody besides me to be awake. So today I am going to talk to you about the reasons why I think you should try out Elixir and why I love Elixir, because I love that language. I love it so much. Can a man love a programming language? Yes, he can. It's like, I want to put on something nice for this language, take it to bed and just have it lie there and I'll do all the work. That's how much I love this language. So why am I so hyped about Elixir? Now, to start off with, I am not an Elixir master, not at all. I use it mostly in my own fun projects and things of that nature, and the reason for that is this is a tragedy worthy of like Roman history. Or Greek history. It's such a tragedy, and that is that I genuinely think that this language is going to be on the sidelines for a while longer. I'm trying to get all my colleagues and everybody I talk to get and to try this language, and not beginners. Like I'm gonna be honest, this is not for people who are just starting out. If you have any experience with Ruby, then this is a perfect next step. And you may recognize it or recognize the syntax a lot from Ruby on Rails and so forth. And that's because Jose Valim, which is like this prophet of code, actually is he was one of the main contributors to Ruby on Rails, and he then went ahead and made Elixir. Anywho, the tragedy, as I've said, is that it's one of those languages it's genius it's pure genius, and it's so much genius that it might not get adopted because of it's simply it's simply a tough sell for some people, and some people it's different enough that some people will find it a little bit tricky to get started with. And right now it really only has one major player backing it, and that's WhatsApp. And that's not even Elixir, it's Erlang. So Elixir, to give you a very brief backstory, Elixir is a functional programming language which is really only syntactic sugar on top of the Erlang virtual machine, or the Beam. So Erlang was developed by Elixir here in Sweden, and its design was intended to solve a problem, and this is one of the major reasons why I love it so much, because it's solving this problem so well. It was designed for the telecommunication industry, which means that it is optimized to have high performance and uptime. And who cares about uptime and high performance these days? Well, pretty much every single company, all of them. Nobody. It's the only thing for most people who are running like a web application of some sort. Like, they care about availability. They want their system to run all the time and never go down, and like all that good stuff. And Elixir, or rather Erlang, was designed to solve this very problem. It's also very good at handling long-running connections. So if you want to do like real-time stuff, it's perfect. Anything like I've talked to Bet365 and like a lot of online casinos and banks and so forth, not here in Sweden but in the UK, that I've spoken to during my job hunt, have been saying that they use Erlang or Elixir. Klarna uses Erlang as well. So that should give you an idea of the type of people who are interested in this. Anything that needs extreme high availability and uptimes of almost 100% is perfect for this. Anywho, the next thing that's on the list is that you're in a situation where, let's say, you need to do an update. of some sort. You need to update your code. Sooner or later you're going to have to patch something, some fix of some sort. Now, mostly people have to have a lot of infrastructure, or you need to have 2 different running applications to be able to do that. So you pull one cluster down and you update it, and then you pull the other one down while you pull up the new updated cluster with the application and all that stuff. Now, Elixir allows you to do, Erlang allows you to do hot code reloading, which means that you don't actually have to shut down the system. You can simply deploy new code to that system, and it's going to adopt it in the runtime. It's going to keep on running, right? And I mean, how cool is that? I mean, Java has been like, they started doing that. Like when I started doing Java development a few years ago, they were starting to think about these things. Like this has been working for Erlang for years. This technology has been around for 30 years. So it's not, and that's also so amazing. It's, it's this robust, super functional, super technology that has been around for a very long time. And the only mistake, in my opinion, that they really made, or rather there's 2 mistakes, but the one is very opinionated here, I'm gonna be honest. But hey, I'm a pretty opinionated guy. But you don't worry. My opinions are usually just as good as facts. You can take that to the bank for the most part. Anyway, the mistake that they made was that, or rather why I think that Erlang never made it into the mainstream of programming languages, is because the syntax is horrible. The design of the language and the structure is very poor. Now, I think that that's the same thing for Objective-C. And I know some programmers are gonna say, "Oh, Fredrik, a good programmer doesn't blame, or a good craftsman doesn't blame his tools, and you should be able to code in anything." And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not gonna be happy. And if I'm not happy, I'm not gonna use it. I mean, I don't like pain either, or going to the dentist. So I don't go to the dentist for fun. I'll do it if I have to, but it's not fun. And the proof is everywhere. You don't see many people running Erlang these days. That's your proof right there. Objective-C we use only because we have no choice, for the most part. Some people use it, and I mean, there are always going to be these people like masochists who love pain. So like they're, if they want to use these languages as their primary language, more power to them. Just tell me someday, like, we'll have a beer and you'll have to explain to me what you love so much about this horrible language that was developed not for mass consumption, in my opinion. It's the same. This is what's the case for Erlang and Objective-C. It was never designed to be mass consumptions type of languages. It was designed for a single team within a single company, or like a small community, and the focus was not on language design. Like, it was not made by people who are masters of this. It was made by regular, very smart people, granted, very smart people, but still not designed for mass consumption. And that's where Jose Valim comes in, who is a language designer, or rather a framework designer, Ruby on Rails and all that good stuff, a genius of this, and he picks up the things that he likes from different programming languages, puts that in the language because he recognizes that the underlying technology, the Beam or the virtual machine that Erlang uses, is immensely powerful, perfectly suited to solve almost all scalability problems and all high availability. Like, everybody's talking about microservices. Hey, Erlang uses processes. It's basically microservices inside of a monolith. So it's like having your cake and getting to eat it at the same time. I love it. I love it so much. Oh, God. Anywho, so, and apart from this, you have pattern matching, and you have like a functional approach to things. It's going to be a different type of thing to work in this language than most other programming languages you've tried. But trust me, if you like functional programming and you like to try out, like, you have to try this. It's a compiled language and it has all these benefits. The only thing I wish we had is static typing. That's the only thing that makes me think that I don't know if this is ever going to be that big thing. Now, I'm going to be honest, like PHP is still around. We're using PHP, and that's not statically typed, that's a scripting language. JavaScript and so forth, like you would think that somebody who loves JavaScript as much as I do would be okay with it not being a statically typed language, but from the brief experience, or the experiences I have with functional programming, it is, and it's not just functional, but in general, I like my server-side languages to be statically typed, because it helps me. It helps when you want to refactor things. It helps with keeping your logic nice and clean, and it reduces it overall, in my opinion, the amount of bugs that you create. And I create a lot of them, so I need that extra help. But yeah, so I really think that you should try out Elixir. I cannot stress how much I want you to try it, because it's like, I really do think that it is the language that would, okay, I'm gonna say it. It's the language that would change everything. It has the potential and the power to be the only real sane choice to use. And I'll give you a small peek at one of my favorite things with it. One of my favorite things is that, let's say that it is inevitable that you are going to have bugs in your code. For some reason, something is gonna crash sooner or later. Now, Elixir, or Erlang, has the concept of a supervisor process in the system, which means that when your system is running, you can actually allow different modules to be like they all run as individual processes. And you have the concept of a supervisor process, which means that this external thing, an external arbiter or like supervisor, is checking, basically doing a health check on your endpoint. So let's say that something crashes, somebody makes a weird request, or you have a memory leak or something of that nature, and your process dies. Now, for the most part, people have to, like in Java and other languages, you have to have that at the server level, a lot of infrastructure and all that good stuff. This is what you get for free from Elixir. It's going to simply restart that endpoint, and if you set it up, you can actually save the state. So if you have a cache or something, you can hydrate it immediately, and it's like it never happened. Like, think of it as it's the classical, you have an issue with your computer, and the first question the IT support staff is going to ask you is, did you restart your computer? That's exactly what's happening. It's exactly the same thing. The system is restarting itself to see if it fixes the problem. It goes back to this last time it was working, and then it keeps on running. Now, the rumors I've heard from certain people who are talking about Elixir and Erlang and so forth, is that like they have systems that have never stopped. Like they have computer systems that have been running for 15 or 30 years without ever going down for maintenance and never crashing. And that type of robustness, you don't, like other languages can just dream about that. So if you're interested, please check it out. It's a great language. I love it so much.